Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Leah, and today we are going to be reading some posts from the Am I the A-hole forum on Reddit. If you're unfamiliar with this, people post there, they ask for public opinion of whether or not they are the a-hole in that situation. Today we're going to do things a little bit differently. Instead of doing like a regular Am I the A-hole video, it's going to be all yoga related. So I picked these solely based off of the titles, and I have not actually read the story yet. So let's go ahead and get into it. First story up. Oh, it literally just says, Am I the a-hole for doing yoga? My roommate, 26 female, and I, 24 male, have been living together for a few years now. I do yoga every day, normally in the living room because it is the only space in the apartment large enough for me to spread out. My roommate also does yoga sporadically, but always does so in her own room. Recently, she has been having some joint/back issues and has been unable to exercise. I know this really frustrates her, and she often comes home and vents her feelings to me about her ongoing health problems. Yesterday, she was in a particularly bad state, and I was, mistakenly, suggesting solutions that she could try. She rightfully asked me not to be the, in quotations, have you tried X guy. She then requested that if I really want to help her, that I not do yoga in the living room so that she does not have to see what she can't do anymore. I understand her feelings, but we split our rent evenly, and I feel that we should have equal rights to the common spaces. Switching to my room would be difficult because there is poor ventilation and not enough space for a lot of poses. Am I the a-hole for doing yoga in the common living space? Okay, so I can kind of relate to this. Okay, but it's my husband, not my roommate. So my husband, if you are wondering where the heck I'm at and that this doesn't look like a house, it's because it's not a house. We have full-time RV. This is our living room. And it's the only space big enough in the RV, and it's literally big enough for one person to do yoga in here. So my husband wakes up super early, he does his yoga in here, and then he leaves the rest of the day for if I want to use it. And I don't really like to do yoga in here. If I'm going to do yoga, I'll do it at the gym or find somewhere outside to do it, because we're currently near Sedona, so beautiful views and stuff for doing yoga, even though it's kind of chilly. I'm thinking if you're sharing a space with somebody and you are equally financially contributing to that space, it's unfair of his roommate to ask him to not do yoga simply because she can't do yoga. I think that's really unfair. And her reasoning was having to see what she can't do anymore. And it's like, okay, I guess, but I just don't think he's the a-hole for this. I think it's pretty straightforward. She has a right to her feelings, obviously, but I would say her in this instance, she's being a little unfair. So let's look at the comments. There's only 21 comments, and this was posted 4 years ago. I literally just typed yoga into the Reddit and just randomly picked things that I thought sounded interesting. So let's see. Not the a-hole. It's your space too. You can certainly try to do it when they're not around, but they are also free to go elsewhere. This is something I wanted to say too, is like, yeah, it is important when you're sharing a space with somebody to be considerate, but to ask that person not to do it at all is very silly. It's like, maybe do it when she's not around, or, don't be using the space when she wants to use the space, or like share the space evenly. But yeah, okay. Let's see. Not the a-hole. She shouldn't ask you to not live your life in your apartment, but to be honest, this sounds more like an outburst about her feeling down about her situation, which is understandable, than an actual request. Maybe I'm reading between the lines wrong. I don't think you would be wrong if you don't want to change, but since you care about her, maybe you could cool it or practice while she's out for a little bit. And that's what I was saying. While a little while, because this does seem like a difficult time. And that's fair. Like I said, she's fair for her feelings. I mean, you know what I mean. Not the a-hole. God, this person's kind of mean. Not the a-hole. She sounds insufferable. I can't do this, so you shouldn't, because it makes me feel bad. Yeah, that's BS. It's your home, too. This person deleted account says her request is not reasonable. She's basically asking you to sacrifice your own exercise. Okay, so... and then this person said the same thing. That said, if you can do it when she's not around or when she's asleep, or in her room, that would be kind. The kind thing to do is their workout room elsewhere in the apartment complex, blah, blah, blah. So basically the same. The consensus is similar to what I said. So I think that one's pretty straightforward. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Oh, I think this one's good. I think it's a teacher related. I haven't read the thing. I just read the title. I gotta get... I know those people that do like an hour long of Am I the A-hole? Excuse me. Am I the A-hole videos? Like, man, my mouth is dry after reading like one story. I'm hoping you guys can't hear the highway and car noise behind me, because we're at an RV park in Arizona, but it's like not too far from the highway. This is going to be my first video really testing out how my Blue Yeti does in the RV, but I really wanted to get back to making videos and get back to making videos that I want to make. Stuff that's fun for me. Okay, so this one says, am I the a-hole for facilitating another yoga/Pilates instructor off of her probationary period over using so many songs from my playlist? Okay, so I forgot to say on the last post, that person was obviously voted not the a-hole. I can see the verdict on this one, but I'm not going to read it yet. I think someone's running their diesel truck behind me. Hopefully you guys can't hear it. I do have the gain turned all the way down on my microphone, so I'm hoping that helps. Okay, so I specifically chose this one because I am very particular about my playlist. If there's one thing that I'm really well known for in my community, with the people that come to my yoga classes, it is my playlist. Not to toot my own horn, but they are unique. People always compliment me on them. I always share my Spotify with people, and I'm like, you can listen to this at home when you self-practice. So I take a lot of pride in my playlist, and I personally would be pissed if people were poaching like half my playlist and then trying to pass it off as their own, But I also, on the flip side, like share willingly. Like if people ask me, I'm like, oh yeah, here, you can go here and find the playlist. But yeah, let's see what this story says. Sorry if writing gets confused. Already confused. I'm really sleepy right now and can't sleep because my mind keeps going around and around, so I just got up to type this out and get it off my chest. Okay, so maybe it should have been on True Off My Chest and not Am I the A-hole, but we'll see. I have worked very hard to create playlists for my yoga classes with unique songs the other instructors don't use. So a new instructor gets trial hired at one studio I teach at, and she samples one of my classes. So I thought I'd support her. Oh, good. The truck's gone. I'm betting that you guys won't even be able to hear it, and hopefully this isn't a moot point. Okay, so back to the post. So I thought I'd support her and go to her classes. That's nice. And then it happens. She actually has one of my songs on her playlist. Okay. Coincidence? Not likely. She plays it during Shavasana, which is exactly when I had it playing in my class. So this totally effed with my Shavasana experience because because she made it impossible for me to just relax and not think about why she copied my song. Okay, I thought it was an entire playlist, not one song. Sorry, I'll try to hold my commentary to the end. I didn't know how to deal with it, so I let it go. But it just kind of nagged at me. So I thought I'd go to another one of her classes. This time, a different song that I used came on, and she quickly walked over to her phone and fast-forwarded to the next song. It was just the rhythmic intro, but I recognized it in the first couple seconds, and it wasn't just this. I have a phrase I use about wrapping up your rainbow as a metaphor to encourage freedom and joy in the pose. Well, she used a different cue, but it still used the phrase your rainbow. So I confronted her after class and said it's wonderful she felt so inspired by my music selection and cues, but would be more authentic in her teaching if she found her own unique voice. And she just acted like it was a big coincidence and then said, "Aw, you really need a hug today, sounds like." And she kind of pouted her lips when she said this, totally condescending and passive aggressive. Oh, there's more. So I arranged for a meeting with okay, this is overkill. So I arranged for a meeting with the two studio owners. I told them what she did. They didn't want to talk about her stealing from my playlist, but didn't like the way she treated me. That's fair. She was on a trial probationary period, and the owners agreed to facilitate her off the trial period and set her free. So, fire her? It's a very nice way of saying fired her. So I felt happy about this because usually I have a history of not standing up for myself and asserting my voice, and this felt like a breakthrough. But then I started feeling bad about it. But if she wasn't let go, I know I'd still hold resentments at her, and that has led to trouble in the past with me. When things build up. Am I the a-hole for telling studio owners I wasn't sure I couldn't work around this person's energy anymore? Okay, so this one's tricky. And I don't know if I could say whether or not this person is the a-hole or not the a-hole. But I think I'm trying to gather my thoughts here. As I said before, I kind of understand this, and I actually have had some experiences myself where I have seen other yoga teachers copy things I've done, not just in regards to like my classes and stuff, but in regards to my branding, how I carry myself. Coming off authentic is very important to me. So when I see people kind of jack my stuff, I'm like, that's annoying, but it's like, you also are like, I'm a yoga teacher. Let me rein this, egotistical behavior in, I guess you could say. And also, as a teacher, I have been to other teachers' classes, and I tell people this all the time. As a teacher, you should be going to other teachers' classes. And for me, it helps me pick up things that I do like, things that I don't like, and take inspiration. But I think here there's a fine line between straight up jacking someone's stuff and taking inspiration. So it's a really fine line to walk, and I feel like this is more nuanced than this tells us. Like there's more gray area. I don't think it's like black and white. I don't think this person's the a-hole. I don't think the other teacher's the a-hole. I think I would need more details to come to some type of conclusion. I don't like the way that girl responded to her. That was very condescending. Like, that was lame. She should have been like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. I was really inspired by your class. I love your playlist. I really liked this verbiage you used, so I tried to make it my own. I'm sorry if it seems like I came off like I'm copying you or whatever." But let's read the comments. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not even gonna read that. I don't like the comment at the top. I'm like, we're not gonna downplay other people's problems. We didn't ask for that. I don't like this. I don't like when people get in the comments and they like downplay your problems or your issues. They're like, first world problems. Or this person said, this is the most bougie stuff I've read in a while. Like, okay, then keep scrolling. Like, I don't like that. I don't like when people have that attitude of like, it could be worse, or other people have bigger problems. Like, people have anxiety for any reason. So I don't like that. I don't like that. So let's scroll down and see if we can find like a legitimate response. Okay. So here's one. Long-time yoga student here, who have done teacher training. Although I'm not a teacher, I can honestly say I've never talked about how cool and awesome a certain teacher's music choices are with anyone at the studios I go to. Nobody cares unless it's too loud or too jarring. I have to respectfully disagree, because I have had people specifically in my class come up to me afterwards and go, that was a bomb playlist. Do people still say that? I do. I'm a millennial. But people were like, that playlist was freaking amazing. Can you share it with me? And I literally have a QR code. Airplane. Sorry, squirrel. I literally have a QR code on my business codes that takes people to my link tree that has my Spotify playlist for this specific reason. So I respectfully disagree with this person. I'm gonna wait for this airplane to pass. Maybe OP, if you're not familiar with Reddit, that means original poster. Isn't that great of a yoga instructor if she needs to police her music and phrases like it could impact the quality of her practice? A good yoga session should get the students to let go of their surrounding and focus on themselves. OP should dedicate the extra energy into a more effective practice instead of trying to defend her brand. Frankly, this obsession with creating your own brand and focusing on aspects that have nothing to do with actual yoga is one of the many things wrong with Western yoga nowadays. Agree, but also disagree. And maybe this is a hot take. Maybe most people feel the way that this person does. But I always tell this, or I always say this to my people, and this is why authenticity is really important to me, is that yoga teachers are people too. We have feelings, we have trauma, we have baggage, we have all the same things that other people do. That's why I don't like the whole idea of like gurus or, putting yoga teachers or spiritual leaders on any kind of a pedestal, because you're asking for trouble that way. Like, they're having a human experience. They're having human feelings. They obviously felt some type of way. Maybe they didn't deal with it in the best way. Obviously, like I said, it's very much coming from the ego. And there's a fine line to watch. And here I was thinking that yoga made you zen. This is extremely petty. Okay, maybe I'm petty. And I don't even understand why this bothers you so much. Like I said, everybody has their own feelings, even yoga teachers. You're the a-hole. You said in another comment that these songs aren't ones you hold copyright over. Okay, now we're splitting hairs. They're not your property. Blah, yeah, I'm not even gonna read the rest of that comment. You're the a-hole. You don't own the music. This joke is a thread, surely. I would be willing to bet that most of these people in the comments are not teachers. And as I say that, I see the next comment that says, I've been a yoga teacher for 16 years. I train teachers. I run my own studio. People borrow from each other. It is a part of the practice and how yoga knowledge gets shared. I agree. That's what I said earlier. But there's a fine line between inspiration and straight up copying. There are more and more less respectful ways to do so, but it's a thing that happens. If it makes you feel that threatened, you might want to think about how to handle that aspect of being in this profession. Part of that is none of us own yoga, And as an ex-artist, you're referring to your playlist as your music didn't leave me with a great feeling either. Yeah, that's semantics. Okay, so for the most part, it looks like every single person is like, you're the a-hole. So they were voted the a-hole. And then I think this is kind of harsh. These people are like, you shouldn't be teaching yoga. No, we're not going to do that. Because like I said, we're not exempt from feeling human emotion and, having our own baggage and triggers and things like that. And I would say that, I'm going to be a little presumptuous here and say that that person was coming from a place of hurt. They felt disrespected and they probably just didn't handle it in the right way. Like I said, we don't have all the details. Let me know what you think. Is my take a hot take? Let's see. Okay. We got 3 more. Okay. I had to take a little break. Let's get into the next one. Am I the a-hole for getting my mom kicked out of yoga class? I, 21 female, don't live with my mother, but I go to visit every now and then. One day I went to visit on a day where she goes to yoga. She said I could come with her if I wanted, and I figured why not? She had talked about how she really loved her yoga class in the past, and so I thought it might make her happy if I went with her. However, I have rheumatoid arthritis. My mom said in the car on the way there that the class was a very non-judgmental space and that it was a mild class that I could sit out, take a break, or modify poses if things get too hard on my body. And my fur baby is over there sighing. What are you sighing at, little Winston? Sorry. When we got there, my mom started telling the instructor that I have arthritis and may have to sit out of a few things. And she looked at me like I was insane. I just said not to mind me, that I didn't want special attention or anything, but that I might just have to not do certain things during a certain pose. I noticed a sharp pain in my knee, and so I stopped and started to rub the area. Okay. The instructor said, not to me, but to my mother, OP's mom, does she take medication for that? First of all, it is so disgusting to be talked about as if I'm not right there. Second of all, she felt the need to make a big deal out of this in front of the rest of the class, whom I had never met before. It was so inappropriate. My mother opened her mouth to respond, but I cut her off before she could begin and said that yes, I am medicated and receiving treatment, but that any questions regarding my disability should be directed at me and not her. That's fair. The instructor continued this behavior, talking about me. Oh my God, I have secondhand embarrassment right now. Talking about me as if I weren't there, as if I were some sort of small child or pet or something, which is so dehumanizing and sadly something I'm very used to thanks to growing up disabled. My mother and the rest of the class looked pretty uncomfortable as well. Eventually I got fed up, said that since she kept talking about me as if I weren't there, then I might as well not be. I said it was inappropriate to publicize information I shared in private, that it was disrespectful to talk as if I weren't there. This is long. Okay, we're almost done. After the session was over, the instructor actually told my mother not to come back because I had ruined the session. My mother was really upset because she finally found something she enjoyed doing every week, and now I've taken that away. No, find a new teacher. Sorry, I couldn't wait till the end. Find a new teacher. I keep countering my negative thoughts like that it's not my fault. I didn't ruin the atmosphere. The instructor did. And that I didn't take away my mother's safe space, because with an instructor like that, it really wasn't a safe space, because my mother shouldn't tolerate someone who treats her kid that way. My mother being unfairly punished was a way to deflect the blame and make her mad at me instead of the instructor. But something inside of me keeps eating away at me, and I just feel awful. I know that inside that I'm not the a-hole here, but I'd feel better to get more feedback. So am I the a-hole? And give me some advice, Reddit. How can I fix this? Dixie Doggy, can you stop licking yourself? Yeah, thank you. She is looking at me like, do you mind? Okay, so first of all, so inappropriate. Holy crap, so inappropriate. Okay, where do I start? Let me scroll back up. As somebody who has disabilities myself, as somebody who has had people in my classes that have disabilities, people should be able to, adjust, take whatever modifications they need, and it's none of your damn business. Wow. And then, how disrupting to the class to just constantly be asking her thing. Like, first of all, it's none of your business, and it's against the ADA, the American with Disabilities Act, to be asking someone personal questions about their disability. Disgusting. And it's just all around inappropriate behavior. Obviously, this person was voted not the a-hole. The teacher is very much the a-hole. Like, wow. That's crazy. Is it baby daddy? Is it baby daddy? Hello, baby daddy. I'm making a video, baby daddy. No, we're not gonna do that. Beautiful. Thanks, little bug. Okay, so before I read some of the comments, I'm gonna read this update. OP said, I might be the a-hole because I let my emotions get the better of me and lashed out at the instructor when I could have just left quietly. Since I had no plans to return, I could just grin and bear it, but instead I ended up making the instructor mad enough to ban my mother from the place, and that was something my mom really enjoyed doing every week. I say you did your mom a favor. Like, if this teacher's gonna act that way, your mom can find a better yoga teacher and studio. Okay. Yeah, okay, here we go. So the top comment says, that is definitely not a non-judgmental space, and your mother needs to find another yoga class. You did nothing wrong. The teacher is a jerk, and she ruined the session herself. Agreed. I'm betting a few more people in that class will drop out after that display. Yep. Tell your mother that there are yoga classes everywhere, and that she can surely find a class with someone who is more accepting and genuinely safe. I've been to a lot of yoga classes. This is another comment. I've been to a lot of yoga classes at a lot of different studios. Nearly all of the instructors request before class that you tell them about injuries, disabilities, and give pose modifications during the session. You don't even need to have an injury or disability to modify a pose. Yes, this. I take this up with the studio. This person should not be instructing classes if they do not know how to modify for all bodies. Yes, thank you very much. I've had so many people come to my classes and say, oh, I've had a hard time doing yoga. A friend of mine, I'm not going to say who she is like, I'm too tall to do yoga. And I'm like, girl, that's not a thing. People just... Yeah, thank you, Miss Click Clacky. Can you go lay down? Thank you. I'm like, you have not been taught properly with proper modifications, because if you're taught with proper modifications, yoga is for everybody. Everybody should be able to do yoga, even if you have disability, even if you have things that make it a little bit harder for you. Your teacher, if they're experienced enough and a good teacher, should be able to offer up modifications or a completely different pose that does the same thing that may not be a problem. And they should also be instructing you, and I do this, when we get into a pose, I say, here's where you should be feeling this pose. You should not be feeling any sharp pain. There's a difference between a little bit of uncomfortable, which you will feel, and actual pain, and only you know your body. So I always encourage people to modify as they need, to check in with their body. So yeah, this teacher, find a new teacher. Yeah, so this person said, seriously, all that teacher would have had to do was literally nothing. She could have just kept her dang mouth shut about OP and just continued the class as normal. The teacher ruined her own class and went out of her way to do it. not the a-hole. Exactly. Okay. So obviously this person was voted not the a-hole. We're going to move on to the next one. We have 2 left. Okay. Am I the a-hole for refusing to drive my pregnant wife to her yoga session? Okay, so I already feel like, yes, you're the a-hole. But we'll see. Okay. Good morning, all. My wife is currently 9 weeks pregnant with our first. For the purposes of this post, I should say that she has no driving impairments, such as bad vision or anything like that. She's not suffering from morning sickness or that one illness that makes pregnant women throw up a lot. The name escapes me. Yeah, I don't know either. Anyway, the point is that she's perfectly capable of driving herself. So today, we both had the day off work. I wanted to sleep in, and she wanted to go to morning yoga. Okay, fair enough. Problem is, she wants me to drop her off. The day before, she asked me if I could drop her off at yoga. I said, sure, so as long as it's not too early, because I want to sleep in. She assured me that it won't be too early, so I agreed. It's also important to say that she never told me the exact time, just that it won't be too early. Okay? This morning, she woke me up at 6:30 a.m. saying she's ready to go. I refuse and say that is not what we agreed. She says that I can drop her off. The place is a 10-minute drive away, then come back and sleep. I can't do this because I have poor vision, so I wear contact lenses. It's considered dangerous to sleep with contacts in, so I can't just come back and sleep with them in. I'd have to take them out again, and once I take them out, they have to soak in the solution for at least 7 hours. So that's a significant amount of time that I'd be practically blind if I did not go back to sleep for a few. This is very confusing. I don't wear contacts. I say to her that why can't you just drive yourself? It's 10 minutes away. You don't have to pay for parking. There's no snow on the ground, so it's not dangerous to drive. What's the issue here? She doesn't respond to any of that. She just says that I made a commitment, so I have to stick to it. And I say that I did make a commitment, but it was under different terms, and that if you made me aware that it was going to be this early, I would not have agreed. She didn't respond to any of that and said it's not a big deal to sacrifice a bit for your significant other once in a while. And I say, of course it's not a big deal, but it's not a big deal to just drive yourself. When she came back, she says she's unhappy with me and has been frosty to me ever since. Excuse me. Was I being unreasonable here? Edit. Just to clear up some confusion, she's 9 weeks pregnant, not 9 months. Some people have asked what time we usually get up, and we both usually are up for work at 7:30 to 8. She also, as far as I can tell, does not have any anxiety about driving. She's never brought that up to me. She's never indicated that. Yeah, never mind. I'm gonna say not the asshole. I'm gonna say not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. You said you'd drive her if it wasn't too early in the morning. 6:30 a.m. is by every definition early, and too early for most people. Hopefully she'll open up and tell you why she's not willing to drive herself. Yeah, and I originally thought he said 9 months, and I was like, maybe she's uncomfortable, you know? But then he said 9 weeks, not 9 months, and it's like, 9 weeks? Some people don't even know they're pregnant at 9 weeks. So, yeah, weird. Yeah, exactly. Here, this person says, I was all prepared to call this guy the a-hole, thinking his poor 8-month pregnant wife can't safely reach the wheel and pedals anymore. This poor woman just wants to do yoga and stretch out her poor sore limbs. Nope, he is clearly not the a-hole, and she's definitely acting like the a-hole. I am 7 weeks along this morning. I was dry heaving and in tears minutes before I drove my butt to work. My husband works from home and could drive me to work if I need him to, but I didn't ask him because I'm an adult and I'm not making him drive across town because I don't feel like driving. Okay, so I guess this person had symptoms at 7 weeks, so maybe I take back what I said earlier. I'm not an expert on pregnancy. I have not had any children myself, so no judgment. This person says, does Uber or Lyft not exist for them? I mean, they're also assuming they live in the US. I don't know if Uber or Lyft exists outside of the US. Not the a-hole. Anyone wakes me up at 6:30 for a non-emergency that they're perfectly capable of doing themselves, I'd be furious. That's me. I love my sleep. I'm a grumpy person to wake up, so I would feel the same way. Someone said this, hands would be thrown. Yeah, exactly. Not the a-hole. She doesn't respond to any of that. She just says, I made a commitment, so I have to stick to it. You said as long as it's not early, 6:30 is early. So the consensus is 6:30 is early. So tell me what you think. Is 6:30 a.m. early? It's early for me. Maybe it wouldn't have been that early back when I was in the military, but like now I'm like, no. 6:30 is way too early for me. Okay, so voted not the a-hole. I agree. Let's move on to our final post. Am I the a-hole for wanting to go on a okay, let's start this again. Am I the a-hole for wanting to go on a yoga retreat without my boyfriend? Okay, so I chose this one because I went to my yoga teacher training, which was also kind of like a retreat in Bali for an entire month without my husband. He said he did not enjoy it. He does not want me to be gone that long. But this person said it was 7 days. So let's see. I have been dating this old school Italian guy for 3 months, and I told him I was going on a 7-day yoga retreat in Ecuador. He was not having it, said it was disrespectful to the relationship, that we were partners, and going away without him was not okay with him. Perhaps this is cultural, as I have never had the issue with my exes. This will be my 4th retreat. I am an avid traveler and yoga enthusiast. I take this time to reconnect with myself, meet new people, and see a new country. The trip is booked. Going will likely break us up. Am I the a-hole? No. As somebody who's been married for over 5 years, as long as the activities are not disrespectful, there's absolutely no reason why your significant other shouldn't be able to go do something for themselves, especially when it's something like only 7 days. Like I said, I went for an entire month, and while my husband was not necessarily happy about it, he supported me. He obviously was like, yes, go, do your thing. So yeah, my opinion, not the a-hole. So they edited. He has recently offered / insisted on joining me, but personally, that's not the idea of the retreat for me. We have / had separate beach vacation planned for us in June. Yeah, so if it's something you want to do for yourself, like, it would be different if your partner really also enjoyed yoga. Like, now my husband really enjoys yoga, so maybe that might be something, not a teacher training, but like a retreat might be something we want to do together. But I think also if I told him like, hey, this is something I want to do for myself, have alone time. I'm very much introverted. I have to have my alone time, and luckily I'm with a partner that respects that. And I feel like if you want to be independent, have your alone time and time to kind of have this experience with yourself, like, there are experiences, it's not like you're not sharing other experiences with them. So you, just because you're in a coupling or a partnership or a marriage or any of those things, doesn't mean that you shouldn't still get things for yourself or get time for yourself. So let's see what the comments have to say. Not the a-hole. Your boyfriend is being possessive and controlling if he enforces this. Agreed. Not the a-hole. You have been with this person for a total of 12 weeks. I must have missed that. Maybe it was in the comments. Even if it had been 12 years, he still wouldn't have the right to keep you from traveling and living your life. You should be more than happy to have this trip break you up. I agree. I hate to be like, I know Reddit is very quick to like be like, dump them. And I don't want to be that person, but I am. Yeah, I very much would be like, find a new boyfriend. At least you are seeing this red flag 12 weeks in and not 12 years in. Not the a-hole. You've been together a whole 3 months. And even if it's been 30 years together, you can go on a trip alone. Exactly. If you guys break up, it sounds like it won't be the end of the world. Oh, boy. Not the a-hole. Go on the retreat and toss the guy. Agreed. Info. If he did something similar, would you be mad? I think this is fair. No, not mad. He went on a weekend boys trip recently, and I said, have fun. No reason to not have trust. I don't expect everyone to understand the solo trips and have the same mindset. I agree. Like I said, I don't see anything wrong with solo trips as long as the activities on the trip are not disrespectful to the other person, whatever you agreed on, because I know some people agree on different things, right, on what they consider disrespectful. So in your relationship, have that communication, and as long as no disrespectful activities are going on, then I don't see a problem with it. Not the a-hole. It's been 3 months. If he's this controlling now, I would think it's only going to get worse. I agree. Not the a-hole. He needs to get over himself. You're an adult woman who can travel anywhere you want to, when you want to, with or without whomever you want to. If he's going to break up with you over this, if he's going to break up with you over not being his pet and having your own life independent of his, then he's doing you a favor. Agreed. Okay, so I think we all agree. Not the a-hole. This person was voted. Not the a-hole. All right, so that was our final Am I the A-hole post. Let me know if you guys enjoy this type of video. I really enjoy making this type of video. I like kind of giving my input on things, especially if they're yoga related. I do have in the same file a similar format for just fitness related. So that will be my next Am I the A-hole video. If there's anything else that you guys want to see, let me know. And I hope y'all really enjoyed this video today, and I will see you next time. Bye!